Okay, so we use it pretty much every second of every day. But have you ever just stopped and wondered, how does it all actually work? Well, today we're going to pull back that curtain on the internet and reveal the incredible, invisible world that powers pretty much everything we do.
I mean, just think about it for a second. You tap a button on your phone, and in what feels like an instant, your message pops up on a friend's screen, maybe halfway across the world. It feels like straight up magic, right? But it's not magic. It's a journey, an absolutely epic one, happening at nearly the speed of light. So what is really going on in that split second?
All right, to really get our heads around this, the best way to think about the entire internet is like a gigantic, super efficient global postal service. Seriously, this one idea makes everything else just click. And it all starts with how your message gets ready for delivery.
See, here's the first surprise. Your message, whether it's one photo or an entire movie, it doesn't travel in one big piece. Nope. Your device actually chops it up into thousands of tiny little pieces called data packets. You can literally think of each packet as a digital postcard, with each one carrying just a tiny part of the bigger message.
And of course, just like a postcard, every single one of these little packets needs an address so it knows where to go. That's where the IP address comes in. Every device online, your phone, your laptop, the website you're visiting, has its own unique one. It is the destination that gets stamped on every single packet before it's sent.
So where are they all headed? Well, they're going to a server. And servers, you can just think of them as these super powerful computers that are basically the internet's giant libraries or central post offices. They store websites, they get your emails, and yep, they hold all those cat videos you've been watching.
So, check this out. This makes the whole analogy super clear. A physical letter? That's your data packet. A street address? That's the IP address. And the post office? That's the server. It's really the exact same system, just, operating on a global scale at a speed that's almost impossible to imagine.
All right, now for the really cool part. Let's actually follow one of these tiny packets on its epic journey. We've got our message packaged up, we've stamped the address on it, now it's time to send it out into the wild. Okay, so here's the whole journey, broken down into 5 steps. It happens in a flash, but here's what's going on. First, packaging. Your device chops up the data and slaps that destination IP address on every piece. Then, step 2, local sorting. They zip over to your Wi-Fi router. Think of it as your neighborhood mailbox, which sends them on their way. Next up, regional hub. Your internet service provider, your ISP, gets the packets. This is like the massive regional sorting center that launches them on the internet's superhighways. Which brings us to global travel. These packets are now racing through this incredible network of underground and undersea cables, with other routers guiding them like air traffic controllers. And finally, step 5, arrival and reassembly. All those little packets, they arrive at the destination server, which, like a master puzzle solver, puts them all back together in the perfect order to remake your original message.
Wow. But get this, and this is one of my favorite parts. Not all those packets take the same route. It's wild. The internet is built for efficiency, right? So it sends each packet on whatever path is fastest at that exact microsecond. They could zip through different cities, even different countries, but they all manage to find each other at the finish line. Amazing.
So, we've been talking about this digital journey, but what's really mind-blowing is that none of it is possible without a massive, and I mean massive, physical infrastructure. We always think of the internet as this invisible cloud, right? But in reality, it's more like a physical nervous system for the entire planet. So that brings up a huge question. How does a packet actually cross an entire ocean in a split second? A lot of people think it's satellites, beaming signals down from space. But that's actually one of the biggest myths about the internet. The real answer is way more down to earth.
The truth is at the bottom of the ocean. Yeah, really. We, as in humanity, have laid over 1.3 million kilometers of fiber optic cables under the sea. That's the real backbone of our global internet.
And to put that number into perspective, here are 3 facts that are just incredible. First, that's enough cable to wrap around the entire planet more than 30 times. Second, these undersea cables, not satellites, handle over 99% of all international data traffic. And third, and this might be the craziest one, for how important they are, a lot of these cables are no thicker than a garden hose. A garden hose, cradling almost all of our global communication.
So, when you step back and look at the whole picture, you realize this is so much more than just wires and code. This massive, hidden network. It's fundamentally changed what it means to be human, how we all connect with each other.
Think about it. Every single click, every search, every video call, you're kicking off thousands of these little epic journeys. Each one is a message, an idea, a piece of you, traveling through this hidden world, weaving us all together in an instant.
You know, this incredible invisible network is easily one of humanity's greatest achievements. It connects us in ways our ancestors couldn't even dream of. But it also creates new challenges, right? So it leaves us with one big question to think about. Now that we know how it works, how can we make this connection even better, safer, and more open for everyone?